Okay, one question is very common, which is about the, sequence of your ACC exam papers. Okay. And actually, by the way, when you are completing your ACC qualification, the sequence of or the choice of exam papers which you need to take is very important. People, they might have different preferences, but if you ask me, for example, for your applied knowledge level, I usually recommend students to take first F3, then they should go to F2, and then they should take F1. Okay, this is the order which I do for applied knowledge level. When you come to skills level, applied skills, which you have F4, F5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My first choice is that you should go for F7. I mean, once you are done with your applied skills level and you move on to applied knowledge and you move to skills, the first paper should always be F7. Reason is that it might have a lengthy syllabus. F7 has a very lengthy syllabus, but F7 exam is actually not very difficult. It is quite predictable, very standard type of questions. You do not expect any surprises. And when you are doing your preparation, you exactly know what you are doing. When you take your exam, you come out, you kind of know what you have done and how much marks you will get. Like F5 is very unexpected. F8 is very unexpected. But F7 is always the first paper which I recommend to do. The second paper, you can go for either F5. You can take, that's something I would suggest. Your second exam should be F5. By the way, first is F7, and I suggest that last should always be F9. Why do I put F9 in the end? I will explain this thing. But first is F7, second is F5. In your third attempt, it could be F6, and you can, if you have time, you can mix it with F8 as well, if you have time. If you don't have time, then you can do F6 and you can put F8 here. So in any case, it could be first, one exam session, the first exam session, the second, let's call it, if you're doing it in March, this comes in June, then this comes in September. And if you are taking one paper, this is December, and this is the next March. But the order is F7 first, second should be F5, third place is F6, or maybe F8, or if you are committed and you have time, you can do F6 plus F8, whatever you may choose. And F9 should be your last exam paper. Why I say F9 should be the last exam paper? Because after F9, you have to move to your strategic professional. And here, in most cases, I suggest to take AFM as the first exam paper. This is my choice. Either it has to be AFM or it has to be SBR. One of them. Either you take AFM or you take SBR. But let's suppose my suggestion is to take AFM. And after doing AFM, then I suggest go for SBR. And doing SBR, then you move to AAA, because I suggest these two papers for professional, and SBL should be the last one. This is my preferred sequence. Like that in your professional level, you have two exam papers which are your compulsory, like SBL and SBR you have to take in any case, and you have 6 optionals which are AFM, AAA. I mean, you have 4 optional, ATX and APM. So for most students, I'm using the word for most students, I recommend AFM and AAA from optional, because these are the 2 exam papers which are actually very much, which are mostly used in your real life, practical life, because when you will finish your ACC qualification, you go for a job interview. Where are you going? You are going to either a firm, audit firm, or you go to industry. In any case, AFM and AAA, their knowledge is actually mostly used in your real life. ATX has, how to say, a very narrow application, advanced taxation. And because not many of you will go and work in the tax department, and not all of you are going to use that particular tax regime which you have studied. The exam paper, you might have done UK tax, but you're working in some other tax regime. So the knowledge gain in ATX is not really very much used. APM is also a very good paper, but it is not really very much applicable in the beginning of your career. The beginning of career, you need these 2 exam papers, AFM and AAA. So from my side, I suggest that, and why do I put F9 in the end? Because whatever knowledge you will gain from F9, you will use quite a lot of that in AFM preparation. So, I mean, there's a lot of overlap of knowledge in financial management, because F9 is what? F9 is financial management, and AFM is advanced financial management. So advanced financial management, it actually depends a lot on the knowledge which you gain from financial management. So let's suppose if you are taking FM in September and you put your AFM in December, a lot of knowledge can be used and it will help you, because the things which you learned in FM, they are still fresh in your memory. So coming back, if I make a conclusion to all of this thing in a very short way, let's put it neatly together. Ideally speaking, F7, then F5, then F6 plus F8, or F6 or F8. Last one is FN, F9, FM, which is called F9. Then you've got AFM, then SBR, and AAA. SBR you should always do before AAA, because strategic business reporting, it gives you knowledge on financial reporting standards, and the same knowledge you will use in your AAA exam. And last one is always SBL. A very important thing, I suggest that F9 should be the last paper of skill level, and SBL should be the last paper of your professional level, because SBL paper requires quite in-depth understanding or application of knowledge which you gather in from many other papers. So because it does have some financial aspect, it does have some strategic aspect, internal control, and so on. So SBL is the paper which you should be putting as the last exam paper of your qualification. Never do it in the beginning. So this is the sequence of these exam papers.